Hey, good evening, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the 5 spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregory, YouTuber, host with the most, misunderstood only nomad, and rookie podcaster of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And you're rocking and hanging out with me on the 42nd episode of the Sports Edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. A space where we talk about everything in sports. And we are live and direct from StreamYard alongside with YouTube, and alongside of myself is the Instagram live feed. So make sure you turn on your notifications on the gram for me, so you can know when I'm going to be on Instagram live recording each episode on a weekly basis. And of course, as the schedule usually goes, it's Sundays and Tuesdays. It's going to be Sundays at 6, Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, and of course, I added another day where you could actually get another episode, which is going to be Wednesdays and Thursdays. So so yeah, there you have it right there. And if you are new to the YouTube channel and you are just a new listener and a new watcher in the YouTube universe whatsoever, welcome to the show right here. Don't worry, I got you back on where you can listen to the episodes. So make sure you grab that subscribe button for me on the YouTube channel page of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, alongside with tapping the noti bell so you can be reminded of when the show goes in the air via live stream. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes, along with the sports topics, and of course, more video content, upcoming episodes and previous episodes in case you miss any of them. Everything's all uploaded on every streaming platform, including YouTube. And tell a friend to another friend, and of course, be sure to spread the word. Word of mouth is important. Listen, stream, and of course, watch the episodes. Of course, share the episodes. That's another thing that's important. Share the videos amongst yourselves is also important too. So, now, as far as how I'm feeling mentally, physically, and spiritually, man, I gotta tell you, man. I gotta tell you, man. When I was on Anchor, and usually, every year Spotify has something special to create. So I want to actually get into. I want to actually You know what? I'm gonna save that at the end of the show, because I think it's a little moment that I want to save for the end of the show. So I'm going to actually save that. All right, so mentally, physically, and spiritually, I am doing all right so far, man. I mean, I can't believe 2022 is about to come to a close. And of course, even though we have some catching up to do from the summer, of summer topics and stuff like that, and of course current topics and stuff. So I try my best to actually do what I can to actually keep up with the current episode. No, excuse me, not current episodes, but current sports topics involving in baseball, as far as the off season, the free. Today's episode is going to be it's going to be based on the free agency and the Mets free agency and what it looks like. And of course, we got some stuff to talk about, like as far as Jacob DeGrom is no longer a Met. And then Justin Verlander, which I saw actually on online actually, and one of the outlets, and I believe Andy's Randomness was talking about this too. So we're gonna talk about Justin Verlander in a couple of minutes, and just a little just a little information. And yeah, we got some great stuff to talk about today too, man. So I'd like to actually let's start this off with a little thing that I like to call the quick side bleacher bar. The segment about the trending topics in sports involving baseball, basketball, football, volleyball, and whatever sports that I included, including pool, um, and all that other stuff is included as well. So here it is. All right, without further ado, got a little bit of football news, of course, so we got to get into that right now. Um, and yeah, we're gonna get into that right now, actually. So let's, and this is from this is from the website involving ESPN. Um, yes, ESPNpressroom.com is the name of the website. Okay, so ESPN today announced plans to host Madden Ratings Week from I know this is a little recap of the summertime, so this is a little recap of the summertime. So here it is. So um yes, so from July 18th to the 23rd, reviewing the player ratings for the latest edition of the most authentic 11 versus 11 um simulation football experience out there. EA Sports Madden NFL 23 is launching worldwide on, of course, it really came out, which is August 19th. This is ESPN's third straight Madden ratings week. The week features coverage across Sports Center, Get Up, First Take, and NFL Live. NFL players in the Madden NFL 99 Club will be revealed during Get Up, and the top 10 players from several positions will be discussed daily on First Take, Sports Center, and NFL Live. Additional player ratings, rookie ratings, other top 10 position ratings, and more will be revealed across official ESPN and Madden NFL social channels. Um, end quote. This is a very special year for the Madden community as EA and ESPN honor the legacy of the late John Madden, said Andy Tennant, Vice President, exec producer of original content. We are always excited to bring an entire week of shows and content to the massive and dedicated community of Madden fans, which continues to grow. The fans want more and more on the ratings, on the player reaction, and they want expert analysis, and we are committed to giving them what they crave. But this year, there is also another layer, um, another element, and that is all about John Madden. Coach Madden demanded authentic football in the game that carried his name and the passionate debate and conversations that surround Madden ratings each year from football fans across the country highlights our commitment to accurately reflecting the reality of the NFL, said Augusto Elias Sr., Director Brand Marketing, EA Sports. To have Madden Ratings Week on ESPN for the third consecutive year is an amazing testament to NFL's continued influence in sports culture. Hold on a sec. Sorry about that. The plane. All right, so to conclude the week, Laura Rutledge, Mina Kimes, and Lewis Riddick will interview players and review additional player ratings on a half-hour special airings, which happened Saturday, July 23rd at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Yeah, 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 I do apologize for not for being far behind and stuff. So, and speaking of a little far behind, let's talk Nike. One of my favorite sneakers to wear at all times since 1995. How about that though, man? And speaking of Nike, Nike is working with a diverse group of league, retail, and community partners during during MLB All Star Week, which happened over the summer, which is another recap, to prove the equity, accessibility, and enjoyment of diamond sports for Black and Latina females and all young people in LA. That's Los Angeles, folks. Project Play report from the Aspen Institute found that since 2020, girls softball participation has decreased by more than 15% due to slamdemic related limitations and absence of entry level coaches and referee shortages. By offering Nike Diamond community camps, retail experiences, and coaching clinics throughout the city, and continuing to invest in the Jackie Robinson Foundation and Play Equity Fund, Nike will give opportunities across softball and baseball at all skill levels. Nike will hold a coaching clinic in collaboration with the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation to increase the caliber and number of female coaches, giving young women robust and supportive models, role models actually for life outside of sports. The Nike women's athlete family will join us in LA to motivate the upcoming wave of elite athletes. They'll participate in 3 Nike Diamond pop-up community camps held at the LA Dodgers Dreamfields and take on a neighborhood partner at a softball match presented by um, UNDFTD. I think that stands for undefeated. Um, a kid inspired home run derby will be held at the Nike East Lost Community Store as part of the Midsummer Classic festivities, which will be made more accessible to young people in neighborhoods throughout LA thanks to Nike's network of retail partners. These initiatives come after LA Made to Play neighborhood was introduced in May. Nike is contributing $1.3 million over 3 years through the Play Equality Fund to support 13 neighborhood organizations and close the pay equity gap for Black and Latina girls in Boyle Heights and Watts. Hold on. Yes. In case you didn't know, I was lowering the volume of this recording because of the plane that's actually flying by outside. So, anyway, so additionally, Nike is unveiling the 2022, whatever that. Hold on a sec. The hell is that? Yeah, Nike is unveiling the 2022 MLB All Star Game jerseys and Luna Cortez BSBL, which both pay homage to the City of Angels and celebrating the legacy of Dodger great and LA native Jackie Robinson through the continued support of the Jackie Robinson Foundation and the official release of the Nike Dunk Low Jackie Robinson. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I forgot to do this. Yeah. So the Nike Dunk Low, which is Jackie Robinson, will go on sale on July 19th at Nike SNKRSUNDFTD and a few other retailers as part of Nike's ongoing commemoration of Jackie Robinson, the, the MLB All Star Game, and Hang on. Yes, the MLB All Star Game and the spirit of breaking down barriers. Robertson's well known phrase from 1947, printed all over the design, illustrates his philosophy, which encouraged people worldwide to push the boundaries of their own lives. His original uniforms, worn in color scheme, inspired the design's colors. The Jackie Robinson Foundation has long received funding from Nike Incorporated, contributing around $3 million in the last 5 years, $1 million in FY22 to support the JRF's Scholars Mentorship and Leadership Development Program and Museum. JRF, which is Jackie Robinson Foundation Scholars, benefit from a program that offers career counseling, internship, and permanent job placement, among others. In addition to receiving college subsidy, over 4 years. His groundbreaking accomplishments will be remembered for the upcoming generation of athletes at the Jackie Robinson Museum in New York City. The 2022 Nike MLB All Star Game jersey and Luna Cortez BSBL chronicle the journey from rookie to stardom and are intended to motivate the upcoming LA Diamond sports stars. The dark gray base of the American League jersey symbolizes the effort and commitment that all great put into their art. The National League's white based uniform represents the dazzling lights of the biggest stages in entertainment and sports. Gold accents can be seen all over both jerseys, simulating the prizes that denote excellence in both sports. Um, um, of course, LA's young people can perform at their peak without sacrificing their style or flair thanks to the traditional silhouette. Interesting. Interesting. That's interesting right there, man. Um, that's really interesting. One of LA's favorite Nike footwear models hits the diamond with the Luna Cortez BSBL. The color patterns matches the 2022 Nike MLB All-Star Game jersey, and the cleats lunar midsole replicates the comfort of the original Cortez. All right, so we got some stuff to talk about in baseball related stuff. Let's get into now this is I'm not really surprised by this at all, actually. So this is pertaining to Jacob DeGrom. All right. Of course, obviously, there's been some rumors in the air for the past couple of days. First, let's do the rumor in the air first, and then I'll deliver the bad news after. So hold on. Um. Okay. So, rumor in the air for the past couple of days, involving Jacob Degrom is that according to AMNY website, it appears one of the Mets' main rivals for Jacob DeGrom's signature this winter isn't too keen on the prospect of bringing the two-time Cy Young Award on board, according to Ken Rosenthal of the Athletic Monday. The Texas Rangers seem more confident of landing left-hander Carlos Rodon and possibly Japanese righty Kadai Senga than they do of signing the best available starting pitcher, Jacob DeGrom. The Rangers had been listed as one of the favorites to lure the 34-year-old right-hander away from Queens in free agency after he declined his contract option with the Mets to test the open waters this winter. The AL West side was believed to potentially be able to offer a longer term deal in a city that's a bit closer to his home in Florida. Holy shit. Um, but outbidding the Mets, especially for DeGrom, is a dangerous game to play in the Steve Cohen era, despite injury concerns possibly limiting the figures of his deal. A healthy DeGrom would have fetched as much as $50 million annually, which is still a feasible number if a new contract from whichever suitor wins is incentive laden. It isn't an understatement to suggest the Mets could be desperate to bring DeGrom back. Their starting rotation is very much in flux after DeGrom, Chris Bassett, and Taiwan Walker opted out of their deals this offseason, leaving Max Scherzer, Carlos Cookie Carrasco, Joey Lucchesi, David Peterson, and Tyler McGill as the only pitchers under contract for the 2023 season. The Mets have reportedly contacted both 2022 AL Cy Young Award winner Justin Verlander and highly touted Japanese pitcher Kadai Senga as potential backup options should DeGrom not sign. However, Rosenthal added that DeGrom appears to be the Mets' focus. Rosenthal also lists the Atlanta Braves as a team that could potentially be interested. Okay, now let's get to another Jacob DeGrom news, which kind of I'm pretty sure a lot of people, including the Mets fans, are probably a little disappointed. Um, but this is from the website MLB.com. So here's what's happening here. The Rangers pulled off a stunner ahead of next week's winter meetings, signing ace right-hander Jacob DeGrom to a 5-year free agent contract on Friday night. The deal will pay DeGrom $185 million, a source told MLB.com. The club has not confirmed the value of the contract. So DeGrom, age 34, is one of the most decorated pitchers of his generation, a two-time National League Cy Young Award winner as a Met who bloomed late but continued to improve into his early 30s. Hang on one second, and a little shout out to the crew from Please Don't Cancel Us podcasts. Make sure you check them out on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, thank you for viewing this. And let me know in the comments of what you feel about the topics in terms of baseball news involving Jacob DeGrom being with the Texas Rangers and stuff. I want to hear from you and the people in YouTube and of course Instagram live feed right here. So here it is. All right. So, um, yes. So yes. All right. So, where was I? Where was I? Yes. So, the Grom Age 34 is one of the most decorated pitchers of his generation, a two-time National League Cy Young Award winner as a Met who bloomed late but continued to improve into his early 30s. Yeah. The modern version of DeGrom was born in 2018 when he increased his average fastball velocity to a career high 96 miles per hour, then used his hang on one second. Used his argumentative skill to produce a 1.70 ERA in 32 starts en route to his first Cy Young Award. Wow. Um, A year later, amidst another velocity bump, DeGrom produced a 2.43 ERA to win another Cy. Um, yes. So yes. So for a while, the success was sustainable from 2018 to 2021. The ground posted a 1.94 ERA with an average of 12 strikeouts per 9 innings, and what was perhaps the most dominant multi-year performance by any pitcher of this generation. He routinely hit triple digits on the radar gun over that stretch, topping out at 102 miles per hour. When asked whether he had just signed the best pitcher in baseball, general manager Chris Young simply replied, "Yes, we are thrilled that Jacob DeGrom has decided to become a Texas Ranger," Young said in a press release. Over a number of seasons, Jacob has been a standout major league pitcher, and he gives us a dominant performer at the top of our rotation. One of our primary goals this offseason is to strengthen our starting pitching, and we are adding one of the best. Um, I also want to recognize our ownership group led by Ray Davis for continuing to provide the resources to build a winning culture here in Arlington. On behalf of the entire organization, I welcome Jacob, his wife Stacy, and the entire DeGrom family to the Rangers. Despite his impressive resume, DeGrom does not join the Rangers without some question marks regarding his durability. He began dealing with minor back and arm issues in 2020. Then a bout of elbow inflammation knocked him out for the entire second half of the 2021 season. The following spring, the ground suffered a stress reaction in his right scapula, which sidelined him until the early days of August. The Mets eventually eased him back into a normal workload, but DeGrom produced a 6.00 ERA over his final four regular season starts in 2022. Now, entering his age 35 season, he has not pitched a full major league season since 2019. Certainly, we acknowledge that there's been in the last couple years some injuries, Young said. But we also feel comfortable with the way Jacob finished the season, the way the ball was coming out of his arm right at the end of the season. We feel like we have a great medical team. We have high confidence in their ability to keep our players on the field, as they should. We also acknowledge that in order to get great players, there is a risk and a cost associated with that, and one we feel like it's worth taking with a player of his caliber. Um, a D-land Florida native, DeGrom was a college shortstop at Stetson University, where he once homered off future All-Star pitcher Chris Sale. He converted, to pitching late in his collegiate career, eventually doing enough to become the Mets' ninth round draft pick in 2010. As a prospect, DeGrom struggled through injuries, including Tommy John surgery, before debuting in 2014. The right-hander went on to win NL Rookie of the Year honors and make his first All-Star team the following summer, joining Matt Harvey, Noah Syndergaard, Zach Wheeler, and Steven Matz in a dynamic young rotation that led the Mets as far as the 2015 pennant. DeGrom still makes his offseason home in D-Land, where he plays regular games of catch in the offseason with his father, Tony. Now DeGrom figures to lead a rotation that currently includes John Gray, Martin Perez, and Jacob Otto Rizzi, in addition to one of Dane Dunning, Glenn Otto, and Cole Reagans. Texas also has a top farm system led by MLB pipeline top 100 prospects Jack Leiter. Of course, number 45 overall, Rangers number 2. Owen White, number 59. Of course, number 4. And Rangers top 30 prospect Brock Porter, number 6. And Kamar Rocker, number 8, on the pitching side. End quote. I think we're excited about the rotation as it stands currently, Young said. I think we have at the top of the rotation Jacob DeGrom, John Gray, Martin Perez, Jake Otto Rizzi falling behind, and then options in terms of some of our young guys. We had really solid pitching in the upper levels of the minor leagues. I think that we're going to continue to look to explore ways to improve. We're going to continue to be aggressive and diligent to make sure we put the best team out on the field for the 2023 season and beyond. Now, before I go on to Justin Verlander, let me just take a second to actually say something. Now, I know Met fans who watched Jacob DeGrom over the years are probably disappointed that he's not going to be in Met again. But the simple fact that yes, I didn't even know he was a Floridian until I actually read this. So to be honest with you, him signing with the Texas Rangers and stuff so he could be close to his family and stuff is actually worth the risk, man. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to be technical with this shit though, man. I mean, you being far away from your family and all that other stuff is just not it's not really a good thing at all. You feel what I'm saying? And the shit happened to Noah Syndergaard too when he got traded from the Mets. And yeah, I think part of it has to do that it's a what people gotta understand, including the fans of the Mets and all this other stuff. Everything at the end of the day is always it's always about business, man. It's just it's not just about like it's not about fucking building a winning team. It's about thinking about what really fits for not only the player, but as far as them having families, you know what I'm saying? Being far away from your family can really take a toll out of a person mentally, physically, and spiritually. And yeah, it's going to be hard sometimes, losing a player that's been on a team that's been great at pitching, and the amounts of strikeouts or whatever case scenario may be. But sometimes we all have to. It's not even about adjustments, man. It's not even about fucking adjustments. It's more like you're trying to fucking adapt to things. Like sometimes you're not gonna always like changes, and sometimes you're not gonna always have to agree with all this stuff. So let's get to and speaking of which, man, let's get to Justin Verlander, which I actually saw a notification by Andy's Randomness who actually talked about Justin Verlander signing to the Mets. So here's what's going on here though, folks. So listen to this. And this is from amny.com, which is one of the websites that I use for sports and stuff. So anyway, so the New York Mets are signing 2022 American League Cy Young Award winner Justin Verlander to a 2-year contract that includes a third-year option. The value of the contract is believed to be similar to Max Scherzer's deal with the Mets, with multiple reports claiming that the total value is worth $86 million. Hmm. Yes. Okay. $86 million. It's a swift, bold response by the Mets to pick up the 39-year-old right-hander just 4 days after losing franchise cornerstone and two-time Cy Young Award winner Jacob DeGrom to the Texas Rangers. Verlander, a three-time Cy Young winner himself and the 2011 AL MVP, will immediately slot into DeGrom's spot atop the Mets rotation alongside Max Scherzer, which now combines for 6 Cy Young awards. In his first full season after undergoing Tommy John surgery in 2020, Verlander was superb with the Houston Astros, going 18-4 with 1.75 ERA, 0.82, 829, WHIP, and 185 strikeouts in and 175.0 innings of work. Now, for those of you who may not know what WHIP, let me fill you in on what this is in baseball terms. Hold on a second. All right. So let me see. I don't know what whips is. So I'm not sure what does whip stand for. Hold on. So whips. Hold on. Let me just read this, man. This is very important actually. So you are rolling through the statistics of a baseball game and see the acronym whip. Don't know what it means. You should know it is fairly simple pitching statistic that has been around since the late 70s. Whip is one of the most effective statistics to evaluate pitches. In the post, of course, we will explore what whip is and why it is an important statistic in baseball. So what does whip mean? So whip stands for walks and hits per inning pitched and is a pitching statistic in baseball that tells you the average number of walks and hits per inning that a pitcher gives up. It is a simple statistic you use to determine how many hits and walks on average a pitcher gives up. You can use this to see the potential for a pitcher to give up runs. Each base runner is a potential run. Now, how to calculate a pitcher's whip? So, calculating a pitcher's whip is simple. Here's how to do it. So, you add the number of walks based on balls and hits that a pitcher surrenders. Then you divide that number by the number of innings pitched. The end number is your pitcher's whip. You should keep in mind that whip is a statistic based on average. If your pitcher has a limited number of innings, then that average may not be an accurate measure of their effectiveness. What does whip not measure? You should know that whip is not an accurate measurement for all base runners. Whip only counts for walks and hits. However, if a player is hit by a pitch that is not covered, batters who reach base by a fielding or throwing error are not measured. Also, base runners who get on because of a fielder's choice are not measured, which is whip is also not will not tell you how many bases a pitcher gives up. Well, for example, a single, double, triple, or homer all count as the same type of hit in whip. So if you have a pitcher who gives up a lot of walks and one that gives up a lot of triples, they may have the same whip. What is a good whip? Looking at whip statistics, you will see that the better pitchers will have a lower whip. If pitchers have a higher whip, that means they allow more base runners. The more base runners you have, the more scoring opportunities you have. The pitchers will with a lower whip reduce base runners and tend to give up fewer runs. A good whip is in baseball is going to be anywhere around um a a a 1 point a 1 point a um a career whip below one is rare. There are only two pitchers with a minimum of 1,000 innings pitched that have a whip below one. Is whip a good indicator of a pitcher's success? Good question. Whip is a good indicator of a pitcher's success. It is not the only statistic used to measure pitching success. However, whip is a good indicator of a pitcher's success. If you don't put a lot of runners on base, then there's a better chance of success. To get a better evaluation of a pitcher, you should use whip and ERA together. Does whip correlate to wins? Whip does have a strong correlation to wins. The fewer base runners you allow, the harder it is for the other team to score. If you can minimize the number of runs the other team scores, then you can improve your chance for wins. If you have a pitcher with a lower whip, it is a good indication of their control. If you have a pitcher with a high whip, they are probably walking batters or surrendering hits because of a lack of control. What whip does not consider its fielding errors and offensive output. This means you could have a very effective pitcher, but an ineffective defense behind them. It also can mean that your pitcher doesn't give up a lot of runs, but your offense doesn't score enough to support them. So while there is a correlation, there are some exceptions. Of course, best whip pitchers of all time. Here's a list of top 10 best whip pitchers of all time. If you notice, the first three are Hall of Famers. So Addy Joss, number one whip is 0.9678. Number two, Ed Walsh, 0.9996. Number three, Mariano Rivera, 1.0003. Number four, Jacob DeGrom, 1.0023. Number five, Clayton Kershaw, 1.0035. Number six, Chris Sale, 1.0423. Number seven, John Ward, 1.0435. Number eight, Pedro Martinez, 1.0544. Number nine, Christy Mathewson, 1.0581. And number 10, Trevor Hoffman, 1.0584 rounds out the top 10. After the top three, the next two pitchers are current players Clayton Kershaw and Jacob DeGrom. The top five spots range from 0.96 to 0.01. An interesting fact for you to consider: Cy Young hits the list at number 45 at 1.12. You may recognize Cy Young's name as the name of the award given to the best pitcher each year. The single season record holder is Pedro Martinez. In 2000, Martinez posted a 0.7373 whip for the Boston Red Sox. This mark beat the previous record of 7692 by Hecker in 1882. A name you might recognized is third on the single season list is Walter Johnson with a 0.7803 whip. So who has the lowest whip in MLB history? So the lowest recorded whip in MLB history for a season is Pedro Martinez. In 2000, Pedro Martinez posted a 0.7373 whip for the Boston Red Sox. Addy Josh holds the record for a career whip with a 0.9876. What is the average whip in MLB? According to Baseball Reference, the whip average of the last few years has been around 1.3. The whip average in 2021 was 1.297. The whip average in 2020 was 1.327. In 2019, the whip average was yeah, not sure what the rest is, but um does whip include hit batters? Of course, the whip average does not include hit batters. In addition to HBP, which is hit by pitch, errors and fielder's choice base runners are not included in the average. You only include walks and hits in this average. Um, why was whip created? Whip was created for rotisserie fantasy baseball. It is now used with ERA to evaluate pitcher effectiveness. Whip falls under the sabermetric umbrella. Sabermetrics is an objective way to evaluate baseball statistics. Statistics like whip allow you to focus on the numbers rather than the names of popular players. Who came with who came up with the whip stat in baseball? So the statistic dates back to 1979. You might not recognize the name Daniel um Ackren, but he is credited with creating the original stat. Ackren created the stat for rotisserie league fantasy baseball and initially called it innings pitch ratio. Fantasy baseball players in 1979 often used the newspaper to score points. Newspapers did not list batters hit by pitches, so Ockrent did not include it in the ratio. How is WHIP different from ERA? The main difference between WHIP and ERA is that WHIP measures the number of base runners your pitcher allows, while ERA measures the number of runs your pitcher allows. The two stats together can truly correlate how effective a pitcher is. Just because your pitcher puts runners on base does not mean that those runners will score. Using the two statistics together will give you a more complete perspective. Yeah, more complete, more complete perspective. So, yeah, so there you have it right there. That's all the information involving what whip is and what it's about and what is the benefits behind it. So that's for you folks out there. It's the sports supporters out there that's listening right now from all over the world, USA. Of course, Canada. There's Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus of the five boroughs of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. So there you have it right there. Now we continue with Justin Verlander. Okay. Yes, where was I? Okay, so speaking of Verlander, in his first full season after undergoing Tommy John surgery. Well, yeah, I already read that. Um, it was the final act of a career resurgence in Houston, a franchise he joined in 2017 after experiencing a swoon in the latter portions of his time with the Detroit Tigers, whom he spent the first 12 plus seasons of his career with. Since joining the Astros, Verlander went 61-19 with a 2.26 ERA, and 0.883 whip on his way to a pair of Cy Young awards. Now, for those of you who may not know what ERA is, let me just help you understand what that is. ERA in baseball stands for. Okay, so this stands for earned run average. So earned run average represents the number of earned runs a pitcher allows per 9 innings, with earned runs being any runs that scored without the aid of an error or a passed ball. So there you have it, right there. There you have it. Okay, so he'll be 40 next season, which certainly doesn't lend itself to longevity, but the Mets are a team that's in a win now mode. They couldn't afford to wait to either try and trade for DeGrom's replacement or develop him either. Owner Steve Cohen and general manager Billy Epler still have plenty of work to do, especially in the starting rotation. Verlander, Scherzer, Carlos Cookie Carrasco, David Peterson, Tyler McGill, and Joey Lucchesi are the only starters under contract for next season after Chris Bassett and Taiwan Walker opted out of their deals this offseason. That means the Mets will have to sign at least one more mid-rotation arm to provide some more legitimate depth rather than carrying in a top-heavy veteran rotation into 2023. Okay, let's see. In other baseball news, let's talk Aaron Judge real quick, actually, being the MVP. Let's talk Aaron Judge. Let's talk Aaron Judge, man. Let me see. Let's talk Aaron Judge, though, man. Hold on a minute. Yeah. So speaking of Aaron Judge, of course, before I get to the MVP part, there's been a rumor in the air, in regards to the Yankees have been linked to Mets star free agent Jacob DeGrom, but they have more enthusiasm for other pursuits, and that has nothing to do with any alleged unholy alliance between Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner and his Mets counterpart Steve Cohen. Likewise, the Mets are currently concentrating on players other than Aaron Judge. Just as there are reasons for the Yankees not to pursue DeGrom, there are reasons for the Mets not to focus on Judge. So it's going to be difficult to prove any nefarious intent if they don't pursue Judge. There are, after all, many teams reluctant to pursue a $350 million player. And if the Mets consider a potential effect on their relationship with the Yankees, well, that's allowed too. The union is only doing its job to look into the Mets' expected non-pursuit of Judge, as the Athletic first reported. But as Commissioner Rob Manfred suggested, that's a hard case to prove, and that's even if there's any merit to the case. While Judge is the top free agent, here are a few reasons for the Mets to look elsewhere. They have a greater need in the rotation with 3 rotation stars currently free agents. The Steve Cohen tax is one risk, and they will almost certainly move into that unhappy territory without even without Judge, excuse me. Even without plotting with Steinbrenner, Cohen knows this would end the era of good feeling. That last consideration is the weakest of many reasons, but it's allowed as um as long as the two owners don't discuss it. 8 teams um are said to be pursuing superstar shortstop Carlos Correa, but Twins are expected to go hard to keep their star. Cody Bellinger has interest from 11 teams following the decision to non-tender him. The Astros, Cubs, and Giants are among the teams in play. Bellinger will seek a one-year deal to reset his value. The Cubs are among teams considering Michael Conforto. He is seeking a deal for 2 years with an opt-out. They also are in contact with Christian Vasquez, among other catchers. The Giants would like to bring back left-hander Carlos Rondon. The Dodgers, Rangers, and Yankees are also in there. The Giants, Rays, and Blue Rays are among many teams on Brennan Nimmo, plus the Mets, of course. The Padres have to be considered players for Japanese right-hander Kadai Senga since San Diego ace Yu Darvish is his mentor. The Brewers may trade Colton Wong after dealing Hunter Renfro, but one GM said it didn't appear Corbin Burns was available. The Padres are a surprise team looking at shortstop, and they like Xander Bogaerts. Ha Seong Kim could become a super utility player, and Fernando Tatis Jr. could move to the outfield. San Diego looking for leadership, also likes Jose Abreu, as John Morassi of MLB Network reported. Uh, the Cubs also make sense in what would be a cross-town move for Abreu. Bogarts and Trey Turner are potential fits for the Phillies. The the Red Sox may not be close on Bogarts, but they do seem hopeful to get Rafael Devers to return eventually. Okay, let's see. And let's see. We need to get. I'm gonna get into the free agency part in a sec, actually, before I even get that. So let's get into. Wait a minute, man. Hold on a minute. There's an investigation. Oh boy, which is not gonna stick actually. Major League Baseball is launching an investigation into potentially illegal conversations between Mets owner Steve Cohen and Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner regarding the free agency of Aaron Judge. First reported by Ken Rosenthal of The Atlantic. MLB's probe will review all conversations, phone, text, and email between the two New York owners after a report from SNY's Andy Martino on November 3rd pointed toward potential tampering regarding the Yankees slugger. Met sources said that they did not plan to fight the Yankees this offseason for Judge. Martino wrote, in quote, with free agency set to begin next week, that has not changed. The team in Queens sees Judge as a Yankee, uniquely tailored to be an icon in their uniform, stadium, and branding efforts. Owner Steve Cohen and Hal Steinbrenner enjoy a mutually respectful relationship and do not expect to upend that with a high-profile bidding war, such a scenario violates MLB's collective bargaining agreement, which states that clubs shall not act in concert with other clubs when it comes to player contracts. John Heyman of the New York Post echoed similar sentiments back in October when sources told him that Cohen and the Mets wouldn't want to start a war with the Yankees by going after Judge. 30-year-old um is in line for a massive payday after betting on himself in 2022 following the refusal of a Yankees contract offer that was made public much to his dismay before opening day. Judge hit an AL record 62 home runs. His next contract will likely be in the $300 million range, and it remains to be seen if Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner will outbid the field for the superstar outfielder. And speaking of speaking of which, let's get into another story in regards to Aaron Judge being AL American League MVP following his historic 2022 season. Yankee slugger Aaron Judge was named American League MVP, which is most valuable player, on Thursday night, beating out Los Angeles Angels star Shohei Ohtani and Houston Astros slugger um, Jordan Alvarez. Judge is the 14th different Yankee to be given the honor, and it marks the first time since Alex Rodriguez won in 2007 that a Bronx Bomber has won the award, aka Rod, by the way. Judge captured 28 of the 30 first place votes in a near unanimous decision by the Baseball Writers Association of America, which votes on the award. Congratulations to Aaron on one of the greatest seasons in the history of our sport. Manager Aaron Boone said in a prepared statement. I'm grateful that I got to witness it firsthand and share in his magical year, especially given how much respect I have for him as a player and as a person. I hope he can reflect on his extraordinary individual accomplishments and the impact he had on his teammates every single day, and use them as fuel for continued excellence in the years to come. It caps off what had been a historic season for the 30-year-old, who set a new American League home run record in October when he hit his 62nd round tripper of the year in Texas and nearly completed MLB's first triple crown since Miguel Cabrera in 2012. The Yankees superstar carried his team's offense for sizable stretches of the regular season, cementing his spot in the pantheon of New York athletes. The MVP honors are the first of his career and come amid a period of time where he is deciding whether or not he will remain in the Bronx or take his talents elsewhere. Judge is a free agent after playing out the final year of his contract in a season that is expected to see him rewarded with a pot of gold. As Yankees general manager Brian Cashman put it in his next contract. On behalf of the entire Yankees organization, I want to congratulate Aaron on winning the American League MVP award, Cashman said in a statement after Judge was named AL MVP. He was incredible in every facet of the game in 2022 and put up a season that ranks with the very best of all time. Aaron's success was especially meaningful for our organization as we've been able to watch him grow throughout his professional career into the player and leader he has become, an offensive force in the batter's box, a run preventer, wherever we've put him in the field, and some and someone who sets the tone in the clubhouse with his relentless commitment to winning. He has been our MVP for quite some time now, and this honor couldn't be more deserved. Judge's MVP season played out with the contract situation looming over the entire year, yet he never appeared to let it get to him while he was out on the diamond. Judge batted 311 in 2022 with 177 hits and 131 RBIs. The AL MVP also had an OBP of 425.425 and a slugging percentage of .686. Additionally, he walked 111 times. He led the majors in RBI on base percentage, slugging percentage, runs, total bases, OPS, and WAR. Alvarez came in third with 37 home runs, and Otani finished fourth in the AL with 34 homers. Judge finished as the runner-up in 2017 for the American League MVP honors, but did take home American League Rookie of the Year. That's not bad. That's not bad. That is not bad. All right, so we're gonna get into some more Mets stuff. Of course, their coach, Buck Showalter. Buck Showalter has boldly gone where hold on a second here. Hold on. What the hell? Yes, this is from Audacity.com. So yes, Buck Showalter has boldly gone where no New York Mets skipper has gone before. He is the 2022 National League Manager of the Year. The first amazing manager to ever win the award. That's humbling. Great recognition of an organization. What a great moment for our organization, top to bottom. Showalter said on MLB Network shortly after the announcement. This means a lot to everybody. Thank you. Showalter earned 8 first place, 10 second place, and 7 third place votes for 77 points, beating out Dodgers skipper Dave Roberts and Atlanta's Brian Snicker. Not the candy bar, folks. Not the fucking candy bar, folks. I know what you're thinking. Oh man. Okay, so who finished second and third, respectively. St. Louis Oliver Marmol was fourth. Interim Philly skipper Rob Thompson was fifth, and Padres manager Bob Melvin placed sixth to complete the ballot. For Buck, who also got to announce the AL Manager of the Year award winner earlier Tuesday, this is his fourth Manager of the Year award with a fourth different team, having previously won with the 1994 Yankees, 2004 Rangers, and 2014 Orioles. He is the third manager to win 4 Manager of the Year awards, tying Tony La Russa and Bobby Cox for the record, but is the only one to do it with 4 different franchises. Cox did it with the Blue Jays and Braves. La Russa with the A's, Cardinals, and White Sox. Every situation is different, but coming into a new place doesn't necessarily always mean everything needs to be changed. The club was a different situation in trying to bring a group of people together quickly, and we didn't want our wounds to be self-inflicted. Very proud of what we accomplished as a team, Showalter said of his career arc. Even more remarkable is that Showalter won this year after leading the Mets, who were 77 and 85 in 2021, to 10-10 win. No, excuse me, to 101 wins, becoming the fifth skipper with 100 plus wins with multiple teams and fourth to lead four teams to the postseason, and earned his fourth award nearly 3 decades after winning his first. In this game, sometimes the more things change, uh, the more things chance. Excuse me. The more things stay the same. He said, "We now have a lot of different ways to verify the guts you have. A lot more stuff analytically to verify what your eyes and experience may tell you. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat." Oh man, skin a cat. Oh shit, that's fucking funny right there, man. Oh my gosh. And you confuse change with a lack of respect for tradition sometimes, but you adapt or die. Buck's adaptation puts the Mets finally on the board for Manager of the Year, and an award first voted on by the Double BW Double A in 1983. An amazing skipper had finished as the runner up three previous times, with Davey Johnson finishing second in 1984 and 1986, and Willie Randolph finishing behind Joe Girardi in 2006. Well, let's make some noise for not only Aaron Judge receiving MVP, and also make some noise um for Buck Showalter of the Mets. All right. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Oh, wait. Yeah, I already talked about that. Oh, changes to the coaching staff. Yes, let's get to that. Changes to the coaching staff. So we just want to know what free agency looks like. So let's talk about that too. Um, let's talk about that too. So the Mets free agency, MLB free agency, of course. Let's get to that. So the 2022-23 MLB hot stove is heating up with a few major signings already in Jacob DeGrom, Justin Verlander, and Trey Turner. Which teams will go all in for a 2023 World Series push? Where will other top free agents such as Aaron Judge and Carlos Correa sign? Who will make the trades that has everyone buzzing this off season? Below is a running list of notable transactions and updates from um, throughout the MLB off season. So let's get into it. So December 4th to the 7th went to meetings in San Diego. And today's the 7th actually. So December 7th, which is Rule 5 draft. The next one is January 13th, deadline for teams in arbitration. Eligible players to submit salary figures. January 30th, arbitration hearings begin. And of course, February 24th, 2023, spring training games begin. All right. So, um, December 6th, Texas Rangers Left-handed starter Andrew Heaney is signing a 2-year deal worth $25 million, includes an opt-out with the Texas Rangers, a source tells ESPN. First baseman Josh Bell and the Cleveland Guardians are in agreement on a 2-year contract. Sources familiar with the deal tell ESPN. Yeah. Pirates land right-hander Vince Velasquez has an agreement on a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates, a source tells ESPN. Yeah, I'm not gonna really get into all this stuff. Okay, so the Yankees added a reliever, Tommy Conley, and the New York Yankees are in an agreement on a 2-year, $11.5 million contract, which is negotiable. Let's see. Let's see the story. Let's see. Hold on a second. Yes, right-hander Tommy Conley and the New York Yankees are in agreement on a 2-year, $11.5 million contract. Sources familiar with the deal told ESPN's Jeff Passan. Conley pitched for the Yankees for 4 seasons from 2017 to 20 and underwent Tommy John surgery in August of his most recent season with the team. A hard-throwing reliever, Conley struck out 88 in 61 and 1/3 innings and walked 20 while posting a 3.67 ERA in 2019. His last full season with the Yankees, he signed a 2-year contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers after the 2020 season, but didn't return from his elbow surgery until this past season, when he had a 2.84 ERA and saved in 12 and 2/3 innings. Conley, age 33, is 9-9 with 5 saves and a 3.78 ERA in 298 appearances over 8 major seasons. Wow. Interesting. That's interesting. Let me see. Conley. Yeah. So Trey Turner is going to be with the Phillies, and he agreed to an 11-year $300 million contract, which doesn't include the no trade clause. And as I said earlier, the New York Mets has signed Justin Verlander, and the New York Mets were in an agreement on a 2-year, $86 million contract. Sources told. Let's get into the breakdown as I stated before. Actually, so of course, with an average annual value of $43.33 million per season, Verlander's deal equals new teammate Max Scherzer's MLB record for highest double AV. Scherzer signed a 3-year, $130 million deal with the New York Mets last year. Verlander's deal includes a vesting 3rd-year option. Of course, a source told ESPN the option for 2025 is for $35 million. A source told the Associated Press. Verlander, who turns 40 in February, returned from Tommy John surgery to lead the Houston Astros to their 2nd World Series championship in 2022. He had the lowest ERA in the majors and was a unanimous winner of his 3rd Cy Young Award, becoming the first player to earn the prize after not pitching in the previous season. Yeah, Verlander went 18 to 4 with a 1.75 ERA and 185 strikeouts and 28 starts this past season and made his ninth All-Star team. Verlander won Game 5 in Philadelphia for the first World Series victory of his illus- illustrious career. Then became a free agent in November after opting out of the $25 million salary he would have earned in 2023. End quote. We still have to find that guy that does what Verlander did for us. Astros manager Dusty Baker told MLB Tonight on MLB Network about what's next for Houston's starting rotation. He would stop all losing streaks. On the days that he pitched, I could go full bullpen before he pitched, and I could go full bullpen after he pitched. And that's something that the real horses, um, that's the real horses. That's something that the real horses, if you want to be a horse, then you not only pitch on the days that you are supposed to pitch, but you make it easier on the day before and after you pitch. That preserves your bullpen big time. After losing two Cy Young Award winner, after losing two-time Cy Young Award winner Jacob DeGrom to the Texas Rangers via free agency, the Mets now will pair Verlander atop their rotation with Scherzer, who is also a three-time Cy Young Award winner. It will be the first time that Verlander pitches a full season in the National League after with career spending with the Astros and Detroit Tigers, where he pitched for his first 13 seasons. Verlander and Scherzer were teammates with the Tigers from 2010 to 2014. Um, the veteran made 4 starts against the NL East last season, not giving up a single earned run in 25 innings pitched. For his career, he has a 2.14 ERA against the NL East, which is his best against any division according to ESPN stats and information. Of course, Verlander made only 1 start in 2020 because of his elbow injury and missed the entire 2021 season while recovering from surgery. This season, he led the American League in wins and led the majors in both error and whip, fronting a deep Astros pitching staff that helped secure a championship. His error was the best by a pitcher who made a minimum of 25 starts in his age 39 or older season since earned runs became official in 1913, and it was the lowest by an AL pitcher in a full season at any age since Pedro Martinez had a 1.74 ERA in 2000. Verlander completed at least 6 innings in 22 of his 28 starts and accumulated 175 innings during the regular season, striking out 185 batters and walking only 29. He also became the second non-rookie ever to make a minimum of 15 starts and post a sub 2.00 ERA despite not pitching in the majors the previous season, according to ESPN stats and information research. The 9-time All-Star broke into the majors with Detroit in 2005 and stayed with the Tigers until he was traded to the Astros in August 2017. He won his first Cy Young Award in 2011 and also took home AL MVP honors after going 24-5 with a 2.40 ERA in 34 starts. Prior to his injury, Verlander agreed to a $66 million contract with Houston covering 2020 and 2021 seasons. He pitched with the Astros last season on a $25 million 1-year deal. He is 244 to 133 with a 3.24 ERA and 3,198 strikeouts in 17 seasons. He also won the 2019 AL Cy Young Award, going 21-6 with a 2.58 ERA in 34 starts. Wow. 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 Let's see. Winter meetings. Let's see. Let's get a look at this. Yeah, let me see. December 4th. I already talked about this already with the whole amateur. Well, what I wanted to get to was, oh, wait a minute. The DH. Let's talk about that right here. The DH thing. Designated hitter. That's the thing now I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get at though. Oh boy. All right. So the coaching staff, let's see. Coaching staff. Let's see. 1 second. Yeah, I want to get to the coaching staff and stuff. So yeah, let's get into this though. So the Mets and their fans are well aware of what happened last season at the DH spot. There were the struggles of the original DH duo of JD Davis and Dominic Smith. No, actually, let me leave that. For hold on a second. Yeah, there were the struggles of the original DH duo of JD Davis and Dominic Smith. The moderate success of Daniel Vogelback, basically acquired near the trade deadline to be the lefty end of the DH platoon, and the spectacular failure of Darren Ruff, acquired at the deadline to be the righty end of the platoon. The inability of Ruff to provide much of anything at the plate he hit 0 home runs in 74 plate appearances while slashing 152, 216, 197, led to the Mets basically auditioning Mark Vientos and Francisco Alvarez toward the end of the season. But even after the Mets dealt with a DH situation in 2022, that was detrimental to their pursuit of the NL East title, which they failed to capture. They are prepared to rely on what they have in-house to fill the DH spot in 2023. On Monday, shortly after news broke that first baseman DH Jose Abreu was signing a 3-year deal with the Houston Astros. Yeah. SNY's Andy Martino reported that the Mets' expectations is to go internal at DH this coming season. Of course, expectations can change. Maybe the Mets miss on 1 or 2 of their top free agent targets and decide to sign or trade for someone who profiles as a DH. Maybe they trade a player or two who is currently expected to be in the mix at DH, and the calculus shifts. If not, here's what the Mets are likely looking at. Their lineup most days in 2023 will usually include Pete Alonso at first base, Jeff McNeil at second base, Francisco Lindor at shortstop, Eduardo Escobar at third base. Starring Marte in one of the outfield spots, Mark Canha in another outfield spot, and one of James McCann, Tomas Nido, or Alvarez behind the plate. Speaking of Tomas Nido, he was unhappy with the Jacob DeGrom going to to the Texas Rangers, which is a major blow to him and the fans out there. So I'll get to discuss that in a sec. Um, the mystery here revolves around the future of free agent Brandon Nimmo. If Nimmo is back, he'll be in center field, likely flanked by Marte and Canner, keeping McNeil at second base instead of the outfield. If Nimmo leaves, the Mets could shift Marte to center field and add a corner outfield, or they can move McNeil to a corner outfield spot and trade for a new second baseman or third baseman, possibly slide Escobar to second. Now, you wouldn't want to do that though, man. You wouldn't want to do that though, man. You know what I'm saying? You would not want to do that because you have Luis Guillorme who also plays second base, and he could play anywhere. He could play shortstop, he could play third base, he could play second base. Now, I never seen him play first base before, but only because Pete Alonso is the main player that's also at first base. So that's why you don't really see Guillorme playing first base. So, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. In any of the above scenarios, the Mets DH would likely come from a group consisting of Vogelback, Alvarez, Vientos, and Brett Beatty. Ruff is still on the team and under contract for 2023, but it's very hard to envision him figuring into the Mets' plans. And it's close to impossible to make a case for it not when Ruff went the last 3.5 months of the 2022 season without hitting a home run. So who should the Mets rely on at DH if they do intend to go internal? Maybe the Mets have one guy who serves as the DH most days, or maybe they split it between a handful of guys. But there's no reason to make it a straight platoon based of handedness. Okay. All right. Ideally, the Mets should be relying on hitters in the DH spot who can succeed against both righties and lefties. Although most will obviously have a bit more success against one over the other. Having some positional versatility will also help. Since these players will be on the bench on days when they are not the DH, also important is power. Um, power, which the Mets need more of. Though GM Billy Epler has been playing coy about whether the Mets will seek out more power or look to insert more of it into the lineup by better utilizing the players already on the team. One of the main issues with Vogelback and Ruff last season was that Vogelback was so ineffective against lefties and Ruff was so ineffective against righties that the Mets were left with two bad choices every time an opposing team went to the bullpen and changed the handedness of the pitcher. The Mets could pinch hit for their DH, shorten their bench, and set up the same kind of issue for the next time the opposing team went to a different handed reliever. Or two, the Mets could keep Vogelback and Ruff in there, essentially giving up their at bat to avoid the above this coming season. Here's how the Mets should proceed. So the case against Vogelback, before the Mets picked up Vogelback's relatively inexpensive option for the 2023 season. I argued that it was a very easy call to bring him back. At the same time, I explained why I felt it made sense for Vogelback's role with the Mets to be mainly as a bench bat. As a lefty off the bench, Vogelback has serious value. He slashed 261, 382, 497 against right-handers last season and hit all 18 of his home runs against them. But as the long end of a DH platoon, Vogelback, as is noted above, leaves a lot to be desired. The main problem is that Vogelback cannot hit lefties, which is true. He slashed 139, 262, 153 against them in 2022 and has slashed 136, 257, 227 against them during his career. As was touched on earlier, this means pinch hitting for him or giving up at bats if the opposing team brings a lefty in. The case for the kids, ideally Alvarez will be the Mets' regular catcher and Beatty will be their regular third baseman soon. Perhaps they both settle into those roles by the beginning of the 2024 season. For 2023, it seems like that Alvarez will be part of the big league club either right out of the gate or soon after opening day. And if Alvarez is in the majors, it's likely that he'll be spending some time behind the plate and some time at DH. Even when the Mets are comfortable turning over the starting catching reins to Alvarez entirely, it will still make sense to DH him often in order to keep his legs fresh. So in 2023, the right-handed Alvarez, who slugged .537 against lefties and 558 against righties last season for Double A Biggerton, where he spent most of the season, should be the DH when he's not behind the plate. Then there's the lefty swinging Beatty, who slugged 559 against righties and 486 against lefties last season for Binghamton, where he played 89 of his 95 minor league games. On the days when Alvarez is behind the plate and a righty is on the mound, Beatty should be the DH. And there's a case to be made that Beatty should be the DH when Alvarez is behind the plate, even if a lefty is on the hill. There's also a case to be made for Vientos getting some burn at the DH spot, but it's hard to see how he fits on the roster in a world where Vogelback, Alvarez, and Beatty are on it. And Alvarez and Beatty should not just be on it. They should be the main answers at DH as the Mets look to fix what was a huge issue in 2022. Oh yes. And what is it? Yes, changes to the coaching staff. Yeah, let's get to that. Changes to the coaching staff. Let's get to this. Changes to the coaching staff. Let's see. What's this? Yeah, hold on a minute. So wait, hang on a minute. Let's get to the reactions. Yes, so basically, yes, yeah, yeah, that's crazy though, man. Let's see. So this is quite interesting right here though, man. So Friday marked the end of an era. Yeah, I already talked about the Jacob DeGrom situation. It's just the reactions. It's just the reactions to the people, especially the fans and stuff. So basically let's go into what the people have to say on Twitter about this. DeGrom didn't even allow Steve Cohen to make him a final offer. It's not that Cohen didn't want to spend the money, it's that DeGrom didn't want to be here anymore. And this person says, I feel terrible for the Mets fan. You knew it was happening, but it stings like no other. DeGrom is a megastar, a legend, a show. Having said that, that contract is simply bonkers and insane, illogical, awful. That kind of guarantee for a pitcher who can't stay healthy. Wow. Well, I can't say I'm shocked that DeGrom left, but after seeing his physical struggles over the past couple of years, it's hard to blame the Mets for not going 5 years. The double AV was a little less than I figured, but this sets up an interesting couple of months. JV and Radon. And another person says, of course, Wayne Rendazzo. It was a privilege to watch Jacob DeGrom pitch as often as we have in the Mets uniform. One of the best of all time when he was healthy. He got what he wanted with Texas, and I'm certain the Mets will find the right fit to replace him, which they did. DeGrom was built. DeGrom was brilliant, but so limited. Made 38 starts the last 3 years. Let somebody else give him those years and dollars. Mets smart to walk away. Um, Anyone blaming Steve Cohen or Billy Epper for Jacob DeGrom leaving is doing it wrong. DeGrom didn't want to be here. That hurts if you are a Mets fan, but that's what it is. Another person says Jacob DeGrom had a chance to be this era's Tom Seaver and a rare player to spend his entire career with one team. Many will congratulate him on a massive deal, but I can't help but think Cohen would have matched it. I will always cherish the memories, but what the hell, Jake? Another another person on Twitter says, you know what DeGrom's departure means for the Mets? They don't have any reason not to resign Brandon Nimmo. Oh boy. That's a different story for another time. He didn't seem happy here for 2 years. Um he didn't seem happy. So he wanted to leave. He left. End of story. Enjoy Texas. Well then, long love the Grom and thanks for the memories, but now more than ever. Um the Mets need to move on from Jacob DeGrom. The only way they know how by leaking to the media that he parties too much. Um, and another Twitter user, can't talk now. Jacob DeGrom just broke up with me. DeGrom signed with a team where players go to die. God bless him and the best of luck. Well, damn. And speaking of Speaking of which, we got to get to the Mets coaching staff changes. I didn't forget about that too. So let's get to the Mets coaching staff changes. I did not get a chance to talk about that as well, but let's get into this. So let's see. Changes to the Mets coaching staff. Let's see. All right, so let's see. All right, hold on. Let me see. All right, so all right, so So this is from 8 days ago, folks. The Mets are making a few big changes in the coaching staff. Sources confirmed to the Post, notably promoting Eric Chavez to bench coach and Jeremy Barnes to hitting coach to replace Chavez. Chavez received plaudits last year as several Mets improved in his first year coaching the hitters. He is likely seen as a future manager who should receive excellent tutelage under veteran manager Buck Showalter, who received the Manager of the Year award that I just talked about a couple minutes ago, who just won his fourth Manager of the Year award with his fourth different team. Chavez, the former star with the A's, who also played for the Yankees, worked under Mets GM Billy Epler with the Angels before signing Showalter's inaugural Mets staff last year. The widely um, respected Chavez was a candidate to be Angels manager when Brad Osmus was hired before the 2019 season. Epler declined comment Monday night on the coaching moves. Barnes was said to have been coveted by a couple different teams, which helped lead to his promotion. Mets people were very impressed with him in his first year as well for his work under Chavez. Glenn Sherlock, not to be confused with Sherlock Holmes, folks. Oh shit. Oh shit. Sir Showalter's right hand man who served as bench coach last year is to move to a role where he coaches the team's catchers and works to prevent the opposition running game via pitch calling. It seems as a vital role, especially with the expectation that top prospect Francisco Alvarez will be on the team in 2023. If not at the beginning of the season, then certainly at some point. Meanwhile, the Mets remain very busy in even more vital matters. The current focus is filling out a pitching staff gutted by free agency. Jacob DeGrom, Chris Bassett, or Jacob DeGrom already with Texas now. Chris Bassett, Taiwan Walker, Adam Ottavino, and Seth Lugo all remain free agents. DeGrom is the main object of their amount of attention, but the Mets have also been in contact with outside stars Justin Verlander and Carlos Rondon. Obviously, more of the story is the Mets already signed Justin Verlander, which is kind of like a wise choice, actually. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just Jacob and his family that's in Florida. It's just you know, it's about keeping a major league pitcher healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is about, though. Um, so yeah, so that's just yeah. So let's see. So congratulations to Eric Chavez and of course Aaron Judge, along with um Buck Showalter for their accomplishments um as part of the Mets organization. So let's make some noise. All right. Give me 1 second here. How much time we got here? All right. All right. So think let's see if we covered the whole basis. I think we covered the whole basis though, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we covered the whole basis. Um, we covered the whole basis today. And a quick reminder, you'd like to support this sports podcast right here and all the other podcast shows that I do, you can go ahead and make a charitable donation to my Cash App, which is G Money Stacks 555. That's $ capital G, lowercase MONEY, capital S, lowercase TACKZ 555. And it's not about breaking the bank and having a lot of money. It's all about doing the best you can on whatever amount of money you are comfortable with that you desire will be appreciated. And also you could also support the shows that I do by giving a 5-star review on Podchaser alongside with Apple Podcasts, Podfriend, and along with Spotify. 5-star rating will be appreciated. All right, so there you have it right there, folks. Now we're gonna go to our last very, very, very segment where I tell you where you can actually listen to the episodes on every streaming platform and where you can follow the show and stuff. So here it is. Stream choices on the go. Let's get into it right about now. Yes, you like what you heard. Of course, in today's episode or any previous episodes whatsoever. Of course, feel free to show some love by following Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. That's also on Instagram, along with the review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, and Off the Meat Rat Chains New York podcast at Facebook and Instagram. And alongside with myself is the primary handle, which is G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. Turn your notifications for more details on when each episode is going to be dropping. And as I said before, I added another day where you can also where I could drop another episode whatsoever. So it's Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I'm going to try my best to actually do what I can to actually commit to that. So all right. So let me get into where you can actually leave a voice message. All right. If you go to the link in bio where it says Linktree/Excellent Fun Vibrant podcast, of course, you can actually take a look at the links where it says anchor.fm/gmoneystacks 0/message is where you can actually leave a voice message on how you feel about the sports topics that is being discussed today or any previous episodes whatsoever. So your job as the listeners is to actually comment how you feel about the sports topics, and something, I am going to actually create a question on how for all you New York Mets fans out there who actually reacted when Jacob DeGrom went to the Texas Rangers. So I'm gonna post that question. I'm gonna post that question when I save the episode on Anchor FM. Hopefully by tomorrow, I am going to actually add that to it so you can actually get a better idea on what just happened. Because I know some of the Met fans are probably disappointed about all this whatsoever. So I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna create a question in regards to that, not only in the description, but also on the podcast Instagram page. So be on the lookout for that question, and I'm going to put that as a Q&A question. So that's for you folks out there. All right. So speaking of Anchor, so that's where we're going to start with. So we have Anchor, Audible, Audacity, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podorama, Podopolo, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts. And yes, you can listen to the episodes of excellent, fun, vibrant talks podcast, the Sports Edition show, which is on Radio Public alongside with iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts. And that way you can actually follow my other two shows that's also on there. So with 100 episodes is Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast review show. Make sure you follow that alongside with my 212 episodes with Off the Meat Rat Chains New York podcast. Yes, New York podcast actually. Yes. Yeah, New York. Yeah, you can. Yeah, make sure you follow that as well on iHeartRadio. And of course, last but not least, make sure you grab that subscribe button for me on the YouTube channel page of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, the sports channel on YouTube. All right, and of course, leave a like and a comment along with the episodes and the sports topics that's being discussed. And as I said, I am going to be creating a question for you folks out there that's listening in a couple minutes. And also be sure to listen, stream, share the episodes, share the videos, download these episodes, and watch these episodes in case you miss any of the new and previous episodes whatsoever. Everything's all uploaded and posted to the YouTube channel page and streaming platforms whatsoever. So don't you worry about a thing. So stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, and of course previous episodes. And of course, tap the noni bell so you can be reminded on when the show goes in the air via live stream, including the reminder of the time the recording of the live stream is going to start. And of course, be sure to tell a friend to another friend and spread the word. Word of mouth is important. And of course, be sure to share the podcast along with the link that says Linktree / Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast. This along with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, your friends, the people you cool with, and all that great stuff right there, and the people who you met for the first time whatsoever. So there you have it right there, man. That's going to do it for me. I'm your man, G Money Stacks. Thank you very much for listening, tuning in, listening, and hanging out with me and rocking with me on this episode right here, episode 42, involving the Mets free agency. And as I said before, man, tune into our next episode where we have more information involving the Mets and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that one right there. And remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and you have to earn it. Be sure to actually be confident in what you do with your craft. Find your voice. Find your voice in whatever career field you're trying to do. Follow your goals and dreams. Also look for something that's gonna make you smile, that gets you into your zone with a spark. Creatively, mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's very important. And of course, I want to actually say something before I wrap up here. And I said I was going to say something about this. So this is involving Spotify, and I want to actually take the time to actually say thank you to the people who actually took the time to listen to these episodes of of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. Even though I added the word in episode 33 or 34, I wanted to actually let it let it stand out or whatever. So let's get to it. So we're gonna get to it right now, actually. So um s- so Spotify every year basically creates like something special for not only musicians that are rappers, singers, and whatnot, but they also create something for people like me who is a podcaster. So let me start off with this. So Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast sports edition show has 29 episodes and of course 2.8k minutes in two countries. And so far created two Q&As. About to create a third one in a couple minutes. And what our excellent fun vibrant talks podcast sports edition show listeners like exactly. And it says listeners personality is the adventurer. Your listeners venture out into the unknown searching for fresher podcasts and gems yet to be found. And of course top episode of the year, um episode 5. New York Mets got their infielders back. And of course 100% more streams than your average episode. Yes, how about that? United States is the top country that actually got involved in listening to the episodes whatsoever. And also we created 2,846 minutes of new content. That's more than 91% of other creators in the sports category. Let me make some noise. Let's make some noise, man, for this, man. And thank you, Spotify, and of course, hashtag Spotify Rap for actually making this special shout out to me. I really appreciate this, man. So let me make some noise for myself, man. And that's a lot of content, man, for real. All right. Once again, thank you, Spotify, for making this for me, man. I really appreciate that, man. Shouts to Spotify. Of course, Anchor, of course, man, for actually featuring this. So I hope we do more of that. So we're gonna do more of that next. We're gonna do more episodes next year, of course. But don't worry, there's more future episodes coming up before the end of the year. We're gonna be taking. I'm gonna actually make an announcement on when we're gonna be returning in January 2023, and a possible future episode or the others. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here, man. Anyway, man, that's gonna do it, man. I appreciate you for listening, tuning in, and rocking with me, and thank you, Spotify, for making this special thing for podcasters like me. Oh man, this really hits me to the core, and I mean, and this really helps my confidence, man, as a podcaster, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's all about consistency, man. And as a podcaster, I want to actually inspire people and motivate people into not giving up, man. That's what I'm trying to do here. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to do. So, so yeah. So yeah. Thank you. very much. G Money Stacks is clocking out for the night, man. I'm off this. I'm off this shit right now. So tune in next time where we talk about more information involving the Mets, and hopefully I could get more information in regards to Brandon Nimmo, and his situation on where he's going to be, all the other stuff. So hopefully the Mets could actually re-sign him. But it really depends on Steve Cohen, the owner. It really depends on the 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 price as far as like the difficult challenges behind this. Uh so we'll see what happens though, man. So um so peace and one love. Thank you very much for tuning in and hanging out with me. So peace and one love. See y'all next time in the next episode. And have yourselves a good night, sports folks.